MVP, the Mo Vaughn podcast powered by Vaughn Sports Academy and Perfect Game. And man, the guests just don't stop here, Mo. The guests just don't stop. We got another huge guest on with us tonight. Dave Roberts joining MVP. Dave, how you doing this evening?
Oh, guys, I'm doing great, man. I'm leaving tomorrow for spring training. So, you know what? And you know, Mo, it's like you get that itch and you get clamoring to get back to doing what you do and get back to the rhythm. But it's been a great off season. It's involved World Series parades. It's involved going to Japan, going to an Alabama football game, the first time I've ever done. And I finished it off by playing Augusta National. So I've had a pretty good off season.
That's awesome. Look, yes, I think we're very, very honored to have Dave Roberts on today. I think he's going to have a lot of great information, a lot of great insight. He's a champion as a player. He's a champion, a 3-time champion as a manager. So I'm just very, very happy and blessed to have this guy sitting and talk with us, Will.
Yeah, I mean, I got to ask, let's start right there because that's a crazy offseason. Does this ever get old? I mean, you've done a couple times now in a couple different ways. Is it still just as exciting every single time?
It is. And I think that it's, because I think that I'm not trying to put it to my kids and you love them all the same, but I do think that they're different in their own ways, right? Winning it as a player, there's nothing like breaking the curse and winning it in Boston, a fan base I was craving for a couple of generations, to win a World Series, and we brought that to them, and that was something pretty special. And then when you're on the field and you've got your teammates to celebrate with, there's nothing like playing. But I do think that as a manager, you get that 10,000 foot view where you can sort of see a lot of everything. That there's more than just the players that make this engine go. And you can see that how many people really are affected, how many people put in a lot of work to win a championship. And then you look at COVID versus beating the Yankees, then beating the Blue Jays and how we did in a game 7. So all those different things. And again, you have all your different players and you sort of look at it through their eyes and coaches, and you really feel happy for them as well.
Dave, how'd you get the nickname Doc?
It was just, so in college, it was DR, my initials. And then getting to pro ball, I threw out some hits like you did early on, and I was called the Hit Doctor. And then it just turned into Doc, which is DR, Doctor, Doc. And then that's kind of how it got shortened. So I only did 4 years of undergraduate, so I only got my BA degree, so I don't have a doctorate. So that was only just because of my initials.
Dave, talk about UCLA a little bit. I think it's important for people to understand your story a little bit. As you walked on at UCLA, and tell me a little bit about that greatness that you had there and what you did for that university.
Yeah, I think what it was is I was actually out of high school. I was going to play football at the Air Force Academy. I was going to run the option. And then, I talked to my father who passed away in 2017. I was just like, hey, Dad, and he served our country for 30 years. And I sort of felt like it was the right thing to do to go to the Air Force Academy. And he served in the military. Then I think he sensed that I wasn't all in. And he was like, son, if you don't want to go to the Air Force Academy, don't follow my footsteps. Don't do it for me. Mm-hmm. And so I think that gave me the blessing to sort of go on my own. And at that point in time, we're talking early August. So some schools are getting ready to start. And I basically beat down the door of Coach Adams at UCLA and said, hey, bet on me. I got into Cal Berkeley, the UC system. So I'll take my chances and I'll bet on myself as well to walk on. And worst case, I have a UCLA degree. And then, and that's kind of how it happened. And so at that point in time, I was absolutely overwhelmed. All those guys were playing on the Pan Am team, or Junior Olympics is what it is, Junior Olympic team. And there were a lot of really, really talented baseball players, big school for UCLA. But once I got there, guys, I just said, man, I can play here. And I
Mhm.
just worked my butt off and just kept fighting. And I outworked people. And I was a football player, basketball player, athlete who played baseball.
Right.
Once I got to UCLA, then I learned to be a baseball player and think like a baseball player, understood what the grind was to be a ball player. And then, now baseball, I just bleed baseball.
Growing up, what was your favorite sport? Which of those three?
Football all day football.
So how come you didn't want to? How come you? It was just the Air Force side of things, or did you not really? Were you not feeling playing college football as a whole?
I had an ACL reconstruction. Come even my sophomore year, I was a three-sport starter in all three sports in high school, and I was going to play big football. I was my dream was to go to Oklahoma and follow in Jamel Holloway's footsteps,
Yeah, that was
um, and
yeah.
then Tommy Frazier was at Nebraska, and so once I had the ACL reconstruction, then nothing against the Air Force Academy, but it went down to like the Air Force Academy, and then so I quickly realized that I was going to play on Sundays, and so I just felt like baseball might be a better option.
Before we start reading your itinerary and your stats, man, tell me a little bit about this wine. You're in the wine industry. You in the wine, the wine industry.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for me, the wine, I was looking for something. I went in 2002. Sean Green, my former teammate, and I, and our wives went up to Napa. I didn't know anything about wine. And so we take this trip up to Napa, and I just loved it. I love the people. I loved just learning about something different. It wasn't as intimidating as reading a wine list when you go to a restaurant. And the people that own the vineyards, the winemakers, they were all just like, "Hey guys, whatever you want to ask, there's no dumb questions." They just completely defused everything. And as we were there on like kind of like the last day, my wife's like, "Man, something's different about you. You're not caring about your phone and you're present." And I was like, you know what? I am present. And she coined the term Napa Dave. And so even now during the season, it's like, where's Napa Dave at? Where's that guy? And so I just kind of like that about myself. And then so as I kind of wrapped up my career, I was like, I got to get into wine in some capacity. And so me, Rich Aurelia, my former teammate, and John Mysick, one of my best friends, we kind of came together with our wives and started Red Stitch Wine. And so my brother-in-law came up with the nickname or the name Red Stitch because we didn't want stolen base wine or baseball or something in your face. We wanted something more subtle.
Right.
And Red Stitch, the
That's not
seams
right
on the
there.
baseball was it.
I like that.
And
Okay.
our winemaker was great. We do Cabernet, we do different varietals of Pinot Noir, we do Chardonnay. And so it's been fantastic. And our first vintage was 2007. So we're still going strong. And, we've expanded a little bit, but we're still boutique, which I love. And it's been great. And I still enjoy my wine.
I'm gonna have to grab a bottle, and we got to do this for the people. I know there's people out there like me that
Yeah,
they want to
you
know a little bit
should.
more. They want to know a little bit more about wine. They want to be able to impress a lady on a date. Give me like one tip. What's something I can say? I can ask what I should
All right,
know.
all
Where it
right,
seems
all
like I
right.
know what the hell I'm talking about.
So, I think the one thing you want to do is like, all right, so where you take them on a trip. So it's like, where do you want to go? So I think that's something that they're like, oh, where do you want to go? Okay, well, do you want to jump the pond and go to Europe? Do you want to go to Italy? Do you want to go old world? Do you want to go new world? And then right there, they're like, okay, this dude knows what he's talking about. So then you go, okay, let's just say they want to go old world. And then you go, okay. So then um, you say, I just want to let you know, and I don't want to be too presumptuous, but if, when you're talking about wine, um, the regions of the old world signify what you're drinking, whereas in the new world, it's the grape varietal. And so, for example, uh, you know, you want to go to Bordeaux. You want to go. I mean, want to go to, when you want to go to Bordeaux. Bordeaux is Cabernet and Merlot. left bank, right bank. And then if you want to go to Burgundy, when you say Burgundy, you're talking about a region. You're talking about what you're drinking in Burgundy. You're talking about brother, sister, Pinot Noir, sister, Chardonnay. So in the States, you're gonna go to different places, but like cities, you don't go to regions where they do the wine, right? So first thing, Will, you take them on a trip, old world, new world, and then you talk about if they what region, and you kind of sort of talk about that. But for me, I'm
Are we
a I'm a
taping?
ro- I'm a
Oh yeah.
romantic. I'm a romantic, and the Napa Valley is everything. You can always do the Napa Valley, but then I'm like either Burgundy or Bordeaux, and so they're two different. So again, it's Merlot, Cabernet. Burgundy is Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. So you can't go wrong going there. And then if you want to go to Champagne, you can do Champagne as well.
Bro, this
Just had
dude
Dave
is
Roberts
serious,
put me
man.
on game, Mo. I just got put on game
Exactly.
right
Yeah,
now. Look at
yeah,
this.
He just
yeah.
served
And
us
then
with a
and
whole
then it's
book
like
of game right
it's
here.
like yeah, then you're swirling the wine, and then you smell it, you drink it, you want the mouth feel, and so all that stuff. It's like we could go on. We could do another show later about
Oh
wine. How
man.
about that?
Oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Dave, so I had to tell you, I had Tito on a couple days ago, and I thanked him because I wanted him to understand how important it was when you all won that 2004 World Series for any Red Sox player that had any time of service. I told him I was sitting down here in Miami, and we were in a hurricane, so we were all shuttered up. And you guys got that final out. You don't know the weight that came off all of our shoulders as players. I'm sure as coaches, as fans, the weight I could actually feel it. It brought it brought. I was very very proud. I was always proud to be a wrestler, but very very proud once that happened. So tell me, man, like you come into the game in 2004, we need a run, and you're standing there on first base, and you need to get that base. Tell me a little bit about that mindset because I want people to understand that baseball isn't always about the guy that goes up and hits the 3-run homer that wins games. It's the little things that are made to happen. When you need a base, you got to put somebody out there that guy, that manager, and that pitcher, and that catcher, and he's slide stepping, and he knows he's got to be quick to the plate to throw this guy out, and you do it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think first thing, I appreciate you thanking Tito, because I do feel that that win in 2004 was for any person that put on a Red Sox uniform or any fan of the Red Sox. Because, up until that point, since 1918, the Red Sox were looked at a team that was never ever going to win the World Series, and everyone that was associated with the Red Sox had that sort of uh, that
What's going to
Hester
happen?
print, that Hester print A on their chest. It was like, we were that team, right? And so I think that for us winning, we did that for everyone. And for you to kind of feel that weight lifted, I think that's amazing. And that is everything to me. That team was special. And I think for me, it was a team that Theo Epstein put together, that was very methodical, very tactical. And so I was that fast guy from the West Coast, came over as a starter from the Dodgers, who the Red Sox really never had that fast guy. They were a station to station organization. Guys like you
Mhm.
hit that ball off the wall and you hit your
It was.
doubles and you slug your way to winning, right? And so to finally have that guy, that burner, that base stealer, that in one specific moment, everyone was waiting for. And so for that moment to present itself and me being ready for it, it is a lesson in life. And I think that, it's always easy to, when the end result, to be excited about something. But in life, most times you don't. And you still got to put in the work and be prepared. And I didn't know if I was ever going to get my chance, but I studied my work on Mariano. I knew that he was going to try to hold the baseball, slide step, throw over. and I knew how far my lead's going to be. I knew I had to get a good jump. And the other part that there was a bunt sign that was on, and I give Tito a lot of credit because I asked Lynn Jones, our first base coach, to take the bunt sign off because I was going to steal this base. And then once Tito gave me his blessing, they took off the bunt sign and gave me an opportunity to steal second base. And Lynn said, "All right, kid, do what you do." So for him to entrust his player was huge. And so at that moment, um, preparation meets opportunity, and that equals success. And I was ready for that moment. And yeah, we had a bunch of superstars, and I was just one of those guys that fit in and did a role, and didn't play an inning, didn't at bat in the World Series, but I knew my role. I accepted it. And whenever a big spot was ready for me, I was going to be ready when Tito called upon me.
2015, Padres manager. 2016 till present, Dodgers manager. World Series, 2020, 2024, 2025. Manager of the Year, 2016. Tell me now, okay, you got 3 world championships. It's now 2026. 2026. Is it pressure? Is it expectation? What is the role now in terms of how you approach spring training when you go to talk to your team? What is the role as the manager now putting this all together? Is it the challenge? Which one is it?
I think first off, I don't want to count 2015. That was one game, so I'm not counting that one, Mo.
Okay.
I'm playing. Um, I think right now, until you do something, to be quite honest, you're trying to prove it to yourself, but you're also trying to prove it to other people that you can do it. So that was sort of 2020 that we could win the World Series. And then 2024, it was, and to be quite honest, in 2020, I didn't get a lot of joy out of that one. It was more of relief.
Right.
2024 was pure elation, winning in Yankee Stadium, beating the Yankees, feeling like I got to just enjoy that one and not just relief.
Right.
So I think that now, even after 24, knowing that we can win, and the organization believes we can win. They believe that I can lead this organization. The players believe in what I'm speaking about. That works. That kind of idea, those thoughts work. Something to trust and believe in. I think now, after we won the third one, it's about trying to uh, sustain excellence. Mike Tomlin says the standard is the standard. I think it's more of just trying to keep the players focused, myself focused, and you just don't want any sort of letdown. And then the question goes, how do you do that? And that's the bigger question. I think the one thing is I have to appreciate that they are humans. They've been playing. They played Game 7. They played Game 6 2 years ago. We went to Korea two springs ago. We went to Tokyo last spring. So we've played the longest seasons of anyone in recent memory, as far as games played, miles traveled. So for me to expect the players to come out every single day like it's Game 7 is unfair. So that comes to me now. I've got to bring that sort of energy, that focus, be that jockey to ride these horses with my coaching staff to get these guys to the point where now they know now it's go time. Because as
Right.
a player, go time is not, I leave for spring training tomorrow. It's not tomorrow.
Right.
The calendar starts. It's not
Right.
April 2nd, right? It's not June. You've got
Right.
to sort of hold serve, using a tennis analogy, to then really now pin your ears back and go. So once we get to that point, then they're going to go. But I got to figure out how to get them there.
I like that you humanize that too, because I think so many people, like if you just talk to a random baseball fan in Kansas City or Cleveland or something, they go, "Oh, they just buy all the best guys. That's why they win," which takes the human element completely out of it, right? Like, how much does that bother you or your guys to hear that when you know how many other factors there are in keeping everybody engaged, and you have big personalities and guys who have a whole bunch of other stuff going on in their lives? Does it bother you to hear people say, just simplify it to that of, "Oh, they just buy the best guys"?
You know what? It used to bother me, to be quite frank. It doesn't bother me anymore because I think that the way that the world is now, to get more broad, it's a very cynical world. It's
Right.
a very lazy world. And I say
Right.
that because though that take right there that they just buy the best players is a completely lazy take, and it takes no thought. And to be quite frank, is somebody, and many people have that opinion. It's disappointing. I'm disappointed for them. I'm sad for them that they don't give themselves enough credit to watch baseball and to be a real sports fan, to see what goes into winning baseball games, because all you have to do is watch baseball and know that the team that has the highest payroll really doesn't win. We did it last year. We weren't the highest team in 24. And if you look back at the history, that doesn't happen in baseball. And we are the one sport that it just doesn't happen like that. And then also to watch how the World Series plays out and how difficult it is. Again, it's just a lazy take. And yeah, getting the best players or getting great players and having a higher payroll, does it give you a better opportunity to get a ticket to the dance? Absolutely. Absolutely. Can we, but you're discounting our player development, our scouting. We're the number one farm system in baseball right now. We pick 30th or 28th or 29th essentially every year. And so for us to have the number one farm system, and we have the top five every year, that speaks to a process, a system, the front office. We do things the right way. And I'm proud of that. But, so it doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't.
It shouldn't bother you. I'll tell you what, if I wish I had ownership that was down to win like that ownership, I would be loving it. Period. That's just the way that it is. And you see people that want to win, they're gonna go out there and try to make their team better every year, and that's what it's supposed to be. Now, we were talking a little bit earlier. Is it now that you won three? I think the most important thing for you all now, you don't worry about having home field advantage. You just got to get your guys ready to get into the tournament. And you now have the confidence that I can go into San Diego, I can go into wherever I need to win and win the series being on the visitor's side. So is that the managing process that you're talking about? You guys just need to be ears pinned back, whatever place you're in, just get in the tournament and let things go.
Absolutely. I think that, there's a lot of talk and people, when I get spring training, and every manager is going to talk about winning the World Series, and but until you do it, until you win an elimination game or you win on the road in hostile environments and places, you can talk about it all you want, but you got to do it. And I do feel that we have an organization that people know that we're not going to relent or give anything away. If you're gonna, get a championship, it goes through LA,
Right.
and that's something that our guys embrace. We don't run from it, and it takes a lot of winning for teams and players when they play the Dodgers to feel it. And you talk about the Patriots when the Foxborough or Tom Brady stepped on that field, they knew that the Patriots and Tom Brady were there.
Right.
When you played the Yankees in the 90s, you had to beat Derek Jeter and the Yankees, and they weren't going to beat themselves.
Yep.
And so I think that we've put ourselves in that same conversation now.
Your
Players.
son's, you'll say your son's managing now, right?
Yeah.
He's a bench coach.
Bench coach.
He is going to be coaching in the Tiger system, so he's starting his journey. And man, I'll tell you, I loved rooting for my son as as a young kid, as a college player, as a pro ball player. But now he's going to do something different, and I can root for him that way. And it's a lot easier for me to root from doing that than trying to get hit. So I'm excited for him to impact some young players now.
All right. I got to talk about this. And I got a lot of friends, throughout the game. But you got some of my favorite players in the game on your squad. Freeman, Betts, Kiki Hernandez, Otani, Yomamoto. I love this guy, Tommy Edmonds. Like, these dudes are just ready. Tell me how it is to manage this crew. They seem to me, and I'm missing somebody. Where's my catcher? The catcher.
Yeah, Will Smith. Ooh,
I'm missing. Sorry, Will.
he's a
But
killer. Doesn't look like it. He looks like that choir boy, but that dude
yeah,
is a
he got that
savage.
face like that, but he's savage.
Ooh, he's a savage.
Tell me what it's like to be in the clubhouse with some of the people that I identified. I'm a Freddie Freeman fan. I think that his game is as a left-handed hitter. I would love to understand, and I think I feel a lot of the stuff that he does in the box because I think I was trying to do the same thing.
Same
But
thing. You guys are the same exact hitter, man. And no
just
pitcher was going to
those
get you
guys are
off your
great.
game. And he knows exactly what he wants to do every time he steps in that batter's box.
Great.
I think for me, people talk about you need to have your best players be your best workers.
Mm-hmm.
I have about 6 or 7 of those.
Right.
And I think for me, it's we talk a lot about smart players and not just talent. The talent is tangible. You can look at a baseball card, you can see it, but baseball IQ is not tangible. And
Right.
so I like to speak on things that are not tangible. And so when I say baseball IQ, these guys understand the value of getting prepared, understand watching a baseball game, not just being on the iPads, understand the rules, understand the scoreboard, um, understand, you can't win every game and how to turn the page on a tough loss. And that's what smart players do when
Right.
you're down a lot, but you still can sort of keep going to use another pitcher into the game, which can help us which can help us win a series. Um, to tack on more when you're up 4, so I don't have to bring in the closer to save him for the next day. Those are what smart players think about. And our guys are always talking baseball. They respect the game. They play the game the right way. And again, I'm okay with some self promotion, but for me, it's gotten a little bit off the rails, and people
Mm-hmm.
forget the goal is to win the game.
Team.
And when you lose a game, when you're losing and you hit a homer late, and to do the celebrating, I don't get it. I don't like it. Um, then it takes away from winning the game. And I'm talking about a situation where the game is out of balance. And
I know
so
you.
our guys again understand the game, respect the game, and play the right way, in my mind. And I
Right.
think that's what makes the Dodgers special.
At a human level, I mean, obviously managing him's got to be insane with Otani. My son's a senior in high school. He's quarter Korean. It's his favorite player. Everything Otani does, but at a human level, what's it been like dealing with him, watching the phenomenon around him, you being obviously kind of in the center of that as well? Like, what's that been like for you?
It's I've had a front row seat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one thing to see him from the other side and you can kind of marvel at the talent, but then when you get to see him every day, you understand every minute is accounted for, the attention to detail, everything is with intention. How he separates the expectation from the media, the fans, to then rising to that level of performance and success as a hitter, a pitcher coming back from rehab, taking care of, doing his arm care, his bullpens, watching video of pitchers that he's got to face at night. Um, the guy just loves to compete. loves to play. I've just never seen any person like him, let alone athlete. Barry for me is the best hitter I've ever seen, but you're talking about a guy that can slug and hit, can steal bases, and still has a chance to win a Cy Young every year. So that's just something we just haven't seen ever.
Tell me, and I think I already know the answer. You are a manager that looks at the analytics, but you have to go by feel also in what you see. And I see a lot of that in some of the choices that you make. Tell me how in game 6 and 7, another guy I had on, Miguel Rojas, I had him on. You knew that this was his time. And that's the brilliancy of being a manager, is understanding where your players can help you. And it's not always about what the numbers say. It's about feel. What a great call you made. It won you the World Series, some of those calls you made. Tell me how you came to the conclusion that he needed to play at that time.
I think that my job is to know the players better than anyone. I think you mentioned the analytics, information, data, all that stuff is helpful. I think in any job in life, information, facts that you can sort of then make your decisions is smart. And if you don't, then it's a little bit reckless. So I think for me to use the information to see it, but a lot of times, guys, that information lines up with what I see because I know my players. That's my job. Where the ownership is at 20,000 feet or 30,000 feet, then you get the front office, they're like at 10,000 feet, a little bit less emotional and more longer view, where then the manager and the coaches are a little bit like, let's call it 5,000 feet above. And the players are at ground level. So they're all into the emotion. They can't see beyond right now. And so I think for me, the ability to have the emotion part of it, that we have to win today. That's our only goal every day, is we want to win today. That's it. And then to understand the emotion and how I understand how players can handle certain moments. That's my job. And then I think at that point in time, guys, it was more of, we lose game 5, and Miggy's been the heart and soul of our ball club for the last couple of years. And I always speak to the game honors you. And he was a great teammate. He was a mentor to a lot of guys. He was still doing his work, doing his early work throughout the postseason. And I just felt a revelation after that game and said, our backs are against the wall. I'm not going to take the field without Miggy Rowe being in the lineup in game 6. And at that point in time, I felt Tommy Edman can now kick out to center field because he was battling an ankle injury. So we were trying to protect him a little bit by keeping him on the infield versus getting him in the outfield turf in Toronto. So I just felt this is do or die. And so I need to get Miggy in there, and I kicked Tommy out to center field. And that was kind of the impetus. And I just knew Miggy was going to help us win a game. Whether it's his glove, a big hit. He did that in game 6 with the knock and a couple great defensive plays. But in game 7, obviously the defensive play, the force play to Will Smith, and then obviously the game tying homer that puts him in Dodgers lore forever now.
When you're in the middle of that game 7, do you realize? I mean, that is going to go down as one of the greatest sports moments in any sport, right? That game 7 is record books. Everyone's going to talk about it. Do you realize the magnitude of it at when you're inside it, or does it take a little bit of decompression to figure out what you just went through?
No, it takes a while because I think that if people watch me, I'm very stoic on the bench because I'm always thinking about the next move and the next move and the next move because that's why I don't have the emotions like a fan does. I can't afford that
Right.
because whether something good happens or something bad happens, I've got to have a counter. Whether it's on the hitting side, the defensive positioning side, a pitching side, certainly. And so I did have an out of body fan experience when Miggy hit the homer. Then my hands went to my head because then I didn't have that on my bingo card. So I was just thinking he was going to walk or get a base hit to get Shohei up. But when he hit that homer, I went into fan mode, and and so a lot of times I just sort of kind of take the moment. It's never over, and even after that hit, and Will Smith takes the game-winning hit, Vlad gets a double to lead off the bottom half of the inning. So it's like it's never over. So I think once we won it, you get on, you celebrate with your coaches, the front office, the players, the wives, and then you're like, oh my God, we just went back to back. We did something that hasn't been done in baseball in 25 years. And then you get to the parade and a million people in LA celebrating you. And it's like, oh my God, we're a part of history. And then people start talking to me about going to the Hall of Fame and things like that, which is down the road, Lord willing.
Yeah.
But then it all starts to settle in a little bit more.
Well, man, what do you think? What a great interview today.
Unbelievable. All right, I got one more for you because I got to throw a crazy one at the end. This is what I do, Mo. So you're in LA. You're in LA.
Doc, be ready, Doc.
Mo's down in Florida, right? So what I need to know is do you have a favorite taco spot in LA? And if so, what's your go-to taco order? Because I'm a taco fiend. I'm from Southern California. When I get back, I have my spots. I got to know where you're going and what you're ordering.
So I gotta say, there's a new place called Tres Dos Tres. So me and Adrian Gonzalez are part of it. So that's a plug. That's a bias. I love Tres Dos Tres. Guisados is a great place. And down here in San Diego, where I live in San Diego, because Mo's in Miami, I'm in San Diego. Those taco shops. Anyone that ends in O or TOS, Roberto's, Alberto's, Filiberto's, all those are fire. So they're all good, and I can do my California burrito all day long.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Dave, man, I want to come see you in LA. I got a 13U son that plays. We want to come see what the real guys are doing. So anytime
you're always welcome. You get the VIP treatment. We'll show your son around how the Dodgers do it.
Man, thanks for everything. Keep going. Right now, I think everybody out here on this podcast realizes that it's not all talent with the Dodgers. There's a man hitting the buttons, making the right choices, leading by example with humility. And this is why the Dodgers are doing what they're doing. Dave Roberts, thanks for coming on, bro.
Oh, fellas, man, I appreciate you. It's an honor. And Mo, I've been a big fan, man. That stance, keeping that front shoulder in, hitting that ball off the green monster. So this is an honor. Thank you, fellas.